Welcome to the Undisputed Podcast. I'm your host, Joy Taylor. On today's show, are James Harden's Rockets the best team in the NBA? Plus, Cowboys coach Jason Garrett had some harsh things to say about Dak Prescott on Wednesday. And should the Cowboys be doing more to keep Ezekiel Elliott out of trouble? Skip, Shannon, let's get to it. Let's start with James Harden and the Rockets. Houston won their 14th straight game last night here in LA against the Clippers. They have the best record in the league, but the moment everyone is talking about was James Harden putting Wesley Johnson on skates in the first quarter. Harden even stared at Johnson on the floor before hitting the three-pointer. Let's take a listen to Harden talk about that play after the game.
Wesley goes down, you see it. What's going through your mind at that point?
I don't know. I was trying to figure out what he was doing. I don't know.
You just decided to step back and take the three?
Yeah, I mean, I was looking at him and he was looking at me. And I was trying to figure out what he was doing, where he was going to save. And then I just shot it.
Shannon, how impressive was that play by Harden?
It was very impressive, Skip. I love it. And in a play of this magnitude, I don't want you to be disrespectful. I want you to be openly and blatantly disrespectful. I want you to look down at him and tell him, get your butt up off that floor. And you know what it was? See, because Wesley Johnson, once he got crossed up, Skip, he stumbled, he's sitting down. James Harden said, hold on, that's just the appetizer. I got this entree for you, too. But Wesley didn't want any parts of it. So Teodosic had to come get the three ball in his eye. Ooh, that was pretty, wasn't it, Skip? The way James Harden can get to the basket, Skip, and this is what makes it so hard for people to guard him. Now, I disagree with Daryl Morey talking about he's the greatest isolation player in the NBA history. I guess he forgot about Jordan. I guess he forgot about Kobe. But that's neither here nor there.
Who said that?
Daryl Morey.
Daryl Morey said that. Okay.
Yeah, about James Harden is the greatest isolation player. Skip, the thing is what makes James Harden so hard is that because he's left-handed, and what we've seen throughout the history of the NBA, the greatest ball handlers have been right-handed. But James Harden has tremendous handles. He's so slithery. He can get to the basket so easy. So he has the ball in his left hand. He's on the left side of the court. Wesley Johnson just knows he's going to the basket. So here he goes. He's dribbling hard. Between his legs, and what made it so bad, Skip, is that he had 1 foot behind the three-point line. He's like, Wesley, you gonna get up? He's like, well, let me get the other. He's like, Wesley, are you gonna get up? He's spinning the ball, looking at him. Wesley Johnson said, I'm sorry, James. That ain't good enough. Put the three ball right in his eye. And this is what we know. In a situation like that, when you fall down, Skip, even if you miss the shot, it's going to get played. It's going to be trending because we saw Kemba Walker just do the same thing the night before to a Chicago Bulls player. He missed the shot bad, but he made the guy look so bad falling down. You got to air that. And then James Harden hit a three. I can see if you cross the guy out and get a layup. Skip. The dude hit him with the bop, back up, wait, look down, spin the ball, and then hit a three. Skip, you know it's very impressive. And I know you're going to go back. What about Game 6? He should have did that too.
Wait, have I spoken yet?
I know you ain't spoken. I'm talking to Joy anyway. I ain't talking to you. I'm talking to Joy.
Wait, do you get to go first and second on the show all at once?
Yeah.
Well, I'll just sit over here and just shut up, and you can just talk the whole show.
I like the play was very impressive. James Harden has been impressive for the entire season, and he was very disrespectful to Wesley Johnson, and I commend him for that.
Do you follow me on Twitter?
No, I don't follow you. Some of us had to do something. He had to do our duties did with Joey. We had to attend something.
Some of us have to attend tonight.
Oh, well,
I topped you again, didn't I? Yeah, thank you very much.
Then you have to go that one alone, Skip.
I was not impressed. This was classic internet overreaction to what, for this guy, and I'm giving him high marks here because this guy does this just about every night to somebody, and given what he's done to a lot of other somebodies, this was pretty routine for James Harden to me. It's a little bit classic Shannon Sharpe overreaction, but it's okay. No. I get it, because the one thing that disturbed me about this play was, the reason I can't go gaga over this play, is he didn't really break Wesley Johnson's ankles, as in crossed him over, crossed him up. He just loses his balance and goes down.
What happened?
There was a little push-off going on. There was a little right forearm to the chest of Wesley Johnson. And if we could see it for the 9,787th time, which is fine. I can't get enough of it either. It's fun to watch. There's a little forearm push to the chest. I wouldn't have called it, but I'm just saying, if we're going to rank this play as all-time posterizing on the perimeter, great, because that's what it is. James Harden posterizes on the perimeter.
Yes.
He doesn't posterize above the rim.
No.
It's on the perimeter. No. And I give you that because nobody's ever done it quite the way he did. Is he the greatest isolator? No, he's not. No. Trust me. That guy in Chicago, that ghost that LeBron will never catch, he was the greatest isolation player, and it's not even close. But we don't need to go there today because we went there yesterday, and you got battered, and it's okay. But back to this, James Harden.
I disagree.
Yes, you did. So it's a little bit of a push-off. Again, I'm not going to blow the whistle on it, but because it's part of his, as he calls it, I've been in my bag all year, and he means bag of tricks, because he's got all kinds of tricks, and that was one of his best tricks. And he gets Wesley Johnson going a little bit backward, but he helped his momentum backward, and then he fell down. But was it crossed up, crossed over, fall down? No. Was it broken ankles, fall down? No. But then I'll give him high marks for how he rubbed it in, because he really, really rubbed it in. He stare down rubbed it in, and then he waited, and then he spun the ball, and then Teodosic says, I guess I got to make a run at him because you're not getting up.
I wouldn't have done it. Because what happens, Skip, when the guy gets beat and you chase him into the end zone, everybody thinks it was you that gave up the play. Now it's Teodosic. If I just caught the tail end of it, I'm like, Teodosic got a three ball in his eye. But it was that James. What made it also good, Skip, is that he went between his legs on the step back. And then Wesley Johnson, he thought that appetizer, like, hey, he had that fried calamari, some tuna tartar joy. He's like, I got this entree for you. I got this tomahawk.
And I do give you this. What he is best at is keeping the 1 foot planted behind the line, and then he can step way back from 2 to 3. And now it's going to be another point in your eye. And to his credit, I think if Teodosic doesn't run at him, if they just sort of dare him, okay, you can shoot it like it's a free throw, maybe he misses it. No. Maybe it's too easy.
No, James Harden misses it. It's kind of like, you remember last year, Skip, LeBron on Serge Ibaka when he was spinning the ball, and you talk about how disrespectful that is. I can't believe they let him do that, and he just kept spinning like he's at the free throw line, like he'd been making a free throw. You saw him 3 for 3 the other night. Spinning it, and drop.
Yeah. So, by the way, James Harden is an 87% free throw shooter, and LeBron's a 70.
Yeah, we get a lot of practice.
71%.
He get a lot of practice. He going to the line 12, 13 times a game.
He goes.
Bron, sometimes he might go 8 times, and sometimes he might go 2.
Man,
that's what we're complaining about. But Skip, that was an impressive play. It's impressive.
Yeah. By the way, James Harden has attempted 33 more free throws than anybody else in the league. So that's outrageously a lot. But he makes 87%. I give him that.
And he's the only superstar and the only NBA player that's not complaining about the officiating or getting foul calls because he's getting 12 to 13.
Why he gets to go to the line. I think they go hand in hand. He will gloat. He's quit doing the. I'm cooking, but he'll pop his jersey, and he popped his jersey number 13 as he went up the court, and he still had some more words to say to Wesley Johnson.
And plus, Skip, you got to remember what happened last time they were in Staples. The brouhaha, the Clippers beat them. You're going to rough somebody up. All of a sudden, they tough guys.
Secret tunnel.
Yeah, they got them be on Kind Family or something. So
all of it ignited by one young Austin Rivers, the son of Doc Rivers, the coach of the Clippers, who was in street clothes that night and screaming bloody murder from the sideline, from the bench. And that sparked it, starting with Trevor Ariza. And at least Austin played last night. I think he played. I have to look.
No, he didn't play well.
3
of 12.
3 of 12. Oh, he did play.
Yeah.
Oh, so he did take 12 shots. But at least he was out there. So he had to eat his crow on the scoreboard. And by the way, the scoreboard, as James Harden spun the ball and eyed that 3 at that point, guess what the score was already?
28-7.
28-7. That's a football score.
Yes.
At Staples, it's 28-7, and it was about to be 31-7. So once again, am I going to say this is an all-time? It's an all-time rub-it-in play. I don't think it's an all-time great play, but I'll give this. For regular season games as they go, that was an all-time great first quarter. As first quarters go, because
they put 44 points on it, right?
and he put 17 on him just in the first quarter, and he makes 4 of 6 shots, 3 of 5 from 3, and makes all 6 of his free throws. And he throws in 3 assists in the first quarter, and it was game over, thanks in large part to James Harden.
Skip, now that we're in the social media age, is that normally when you saw a great play, somebody dunked on someone or somebody went behind their back and laid it up, you had to wait till the evening news or you had to wait till the sports news come on before you watch it. Now, this thing, as soon as he hit that clip, somebody's cutting it. Even the NBA, as soon as they hit it like a minute later, the NBA had it up on their site and it caught fire, it was gone.
But it's always about who got shamed,
Oh,
right?
Shame them.
Right?
Shame them.
Shame them.
Walk of shame.
Ha.
Wesley Johnson's going to be on a poster. And James Harden going to be looking down at it.
Speaking of shame, now let's go bigger picture about one James Harden, who is the runaway MVP of this regular season. He is the runaway. You know it, and I know it. And you're making a case for who?
You know who.
I don't know.
You know
You can't know.
The guy that was booed up all the month of February.
Really? The guy who went
19,
the guy who went 19 straight games pre-trade deadline with the worst plus minus in all of basketball? That guy?
How did the Lakers look with that guy, with one of the guys that was traded? How they look? How they look with him?
Which guy?
You know which guy?
Oh, IT?
Yeah, how he looking? Throwing the ball all behind his head.
He did.
Yeah, you saw that.
He's actually shot it better with the Lakers. I think the pressure's off everybody. Was it a great move to get rid of? Sure it was.
Yes.
But back to James Harden. My issue consistently has been with James Harden that he has a game made for Wednesday night in late February. That's what it's made for. It's made for what just happened. And I give him that because it's highly entertaining. If you're easily amused, you were highly amused by that play, right?
Yeah.
But I'm more amused by how you do when the money's on the table in the postseason. And I got to tell you, I just don't see it from this guy. And you have to mostly rank.
You don't see it.
No, you think I'm going to?
Yeah,
Are you going to predict that?
You're going to see it.
Huh?
Yeah.
Against Golden State?
No, I ain't say Golden State.
Okay.
I say if they get the Spurs, I know what he got for them.
Who's going to be playing for the Spurs? Last night they didn't have LaMarcus, they didn't have Gasol, they didn't have Kawhi, they didn't have Popovich, who got thrown out in the first quarter. What else do you want? Is that what they are? Maybe he can handle them this time.
Now you was harping about how Kawhi is coming back.
I didn't harp. I said he's probably not coming back.
I thought he was coming back. He's practicing.
I don't know. He's not practicing with
James Harden. Look, Skip, I know it's been very disappointing because we saw him against Golden State. Well, let's go back to the finals. Sixth man of the year. We saw him. He laid some eggs late in the ball games in those games.
Are we talking about Oklahoma City?
When he's Oklahoma City.
Okay, just stay right there real quick because this young lady will know about these games because it's 1-1 going to Miami.
Right.
And he didn't start, but he played 32 minutes in game 3 of that series and 37 minutes the next. So he would come in for Cephalosha, and then Cephalosha would play a lot fewer minutes. So those are the two big make or break games, right? Because if you lose both of those, you're going to lose the series.
Right.
And James Harden disappeared in both games. In the first game, game 3 at Miami, again, it's 1-1. He shot 2 for 10 and 0 for 4 from 3. In the next game, he shoots 2 for 10 from the field and 1 for 5 from 3. So that's a combined 4 of 20 and 1 for 9. Well, that's that guy.
Right.
That was the first indication of what you were about to see when he went to Houston.
I don't think anybody thought. They thought James Harden was an offensive juggernaut, was a good offensive player. But Skip, nobody saw this.
No,
and then at Golden State, you remember Golden State, they had a chance to take the lead, and he dribbled the ball off his foot. But the lasting memory, Skip, is Game 6. You cannot lose at home by 39 points. He only took 2 shots in the first half. And without their best player, they beat you by almost 40.
By the way, without Kawhi Leonard and Tony Parker.
Yes.
You could argue they're 2 best players.
Right. Well, no, 1 and 2. LaMarcus is the second.
No, I think Tony was playing at an extremely high level. You didn't watch the Memphis series before.
I
but
did.
That's just
I saw. Yeah. He was playing.
Tony Parker was tearing it up.
Yeah, he was playing at a high level, but he wasn't playing at a level higher than LaMarcus. But here's the thing, Skip. So that's the lasting image of what we have of James Harden in the playoffs.
And by the way, could we just quickly go through those numbers? in Game 6 against Spurs, it's the closeout game in Houston without those players playing for the Spurs. And he goes 2 for 11 and 2 for 9 from 3.
Right.
Wow.
10 points.
10 points, 6 turnovers, and it's 114-75 in Houston. And you went berserk sitting in that chair the next day because you hated it that my Spurs had advanced. And you blamed James Harden.
Yeah.
Whereabouts unknown.
Yeah.
I'm
but he was hurt. He said he was hurt. His coach said he was hurt, so I have no reason to believe that he wasn't hurt.
You swallow all the hurt stories, don't
But
you?
I tell you what, he ain't gonna be hurt this year. He got something for the Spurs.
Yeah.
Them Spurs,
good.
Spurs gonna get Spurs.
The Spurs don't have anything left for him.
Whoa,
Go ahead.
whoa.
Yeah.
You just told me they're the third best team, and
I didn't
Popovich
say
is
anything. I said if
You
they're
get-
healthy, they're the best, first best team.
Are you giving?
They are. No, they are.
You ruin
Trust
every
me.
conversation. We try to
I
have
don't.
a good old conversation.
You saw what the
You know how it is, Joy. You know, sometimes you get with your girlfriend, you're having a good time, you're talking, and then somebody will say something, and you're like,
somebody. You mean she?
no, I'm just.
I think you just put it on her.
No, I'm saying.
I'm the
Joy.
one that ruins the
No.
conversation?
I'm saying you having conversation with
Somebody
your girlfriend.
said something out of line?
And somebody says something out of line. Skip and I was having a good conversation, and then he goes and blows
Who's
it.
left for the Spurs?
There are a lot of people left. They third seed, so somebody's doing something.
I
LaMarcus.
think they fell to 4 last night. Didn't they get passed?
Anthony Davis, they called him?
I think so.
Yeah.
Anthony Davis on a mission. He
the
heard what you
Spurs
said.
stunk
He
it up
heard
last
what you
night.
said.
No, he was-
Minnesota caught them. New Orleans is
Yeah, Minnesota caught him.
But I like Minnesota a lot better than you
Okay,
did.
so go back to James Harden. So here are his exits just in Houston. And by the way, right now he's making 38% of his three-point shots. In the playoffs, just in Houston, he's 20 and 25, making 32% of his three-point shots. Well, that's a big drop from 38 to 32.
Of course it is.
So something is getting tighter maybe in his throat a little bit.
Ain't
maybe
nothing
in
get-
place. I don't know. I'm just saying.
But knowing he's going to be able to rest easy because he knows he's probably going to win the MVP, Skip. But his game is really, in the playoffs, you shorten your bench, and you're going to have to get guys that can go and get their own shot.
Yep.
This is why I give Houston a great chance, because for the most part, they're going to have great point guard play for 42 to 48 minutes of the ball game.
Yep.
He or Chris Paul will always be on the court. No other team can say that they're going to get that kind of all-star game, all-NBA point guard play for 48 minutes. That's
Yep.
what they're going to get. He has a game that can go get buckets late in games. He can get, like you said, he's making 87% of his free throws. They're going to give him the call. So he initiates contact, absolutely, but only he gets called. LeBron initiates contact. They don't give him nothing. But I ain't going to talk about
Okay,
LeBron today.
but you're right. I agree with that.
So he has the game. He can go isolation.
Yeah.
Chris Paul can go isolation. They got those three-point shooters. The question that I have, come crunch time, do you really trust Ryan Anderson? Now, he's coming off the bench now, but he laid an egg too, Skip. So let's not put it all on James Harden. Now, the superstar gets a lot of the blame because they get
I
so
agree.
much of the credit when things are going good.
Yeah.
But James Harden was breaking people down and kicking the ball for wide open threes,
Yeah.
and guys wasn't hitting them. Like Doc Rivers said, this is a make or miss league. You know, LeBron should be averaging about 14 assists a game. But, make or miss.
He never has enough help.
Whatever,
So,
Skip.
back to James Harden. So 5 years in Houston, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. Listen to these exits. He lost 2013. First round to Oklahoma City, 4-2.
No shame in that.
Okay. 2014, first round to Portland, 4-2.
No shame in that.
And I'm going to get to the point. He has never even made it to a game 7 of the series he lost. So these are all to 1 or 2, okay? So then it was the conference finals. He made one conference finals against Golden State, and it was 4-1. And you remember the big game 3 turnaround game at Houston?
Yes.
He disappeared again, 3 of 16 and 1 for 5 for 3, and he was minus 31 in that game. And it's just horrendous basketball. And then he lost in 2016, first round to Golden State, 4-1. And then last year, of course, 2017, the semifinal to the Spurs, 4-2. So he can't even get his team to a game 7 in any of those losses. And there are a bunch of big disappearing acts because when this guy is off, he is off the planet off. And when he goes cold, he is Siberia cold. Like you're saying, where are you? Once he starts missing early in a game, he will not get it back. So that's what you're going to, again, maybe he'll prove me wrong. I'm not doubting him. I'm just spitting facts right here. Maybe it's time, will he rise and shine with a Chris Paul as his sidekick? Neither one of them have been very good in the postseason, very dependable. So can they kind of prop each other up in the postseason? I don't know, maybe.
Skip, can you really know happiness if you don't have pain, if you don't have disappointment?
This is a lot of pain,
because that's
man.
what Michael Jordan famous quote is that I failed so much, that's why I have success.
Easy for him to say that because he's the greatest player ever.
Whoa. Skip, hold on, time out. That's not what he was in his first couple of years when he couldn't get out of the first round. I noticed he got a lot better once old Pip came along, and I know you said Pip and he wasn't that good. Look here.
He was just another, like there was Gladys Knight and there was Pitt.
But on that midnight train.
Yeah. Huh?
This is what
to Chicago.
Yeah, just whatever. You always try to see. This is what that's what I can't understand about you.
Yeah.
Michael Jordan played 16 years, and all you focus on is the 6 in which you won the title.
Oh.
But what about the years that he didn't win, Skip?
Well, what about the 6 that he did?
Okay, Skip, we're not
6 MVPs, and there wasn't even a Game 7 that he didn't need a Game 7.
Okay.
He was winning without Game 7.
So 84. So I just want to know. So they only started playing NBA Finals in 91. So you still refuse to tell me that why he wasn't winning before 91, Skip. That's what I don't understand.
So are we comparing James Harden career to
no,
Michael Jordan?
I'm saying James Harden has a chance to be better than Michael Jordan.
No, that's
right?
not what I'm saying.
Okay.
I'm saying you have to go through hardship. Sometimes LeBron James had to go through hardship.
Until he got with Dwayne Wade.
Larry Bird. Joy, if you don't stop playing, Joy.
Bingo.
If you don't stop playing.
Touche.
Most guys, there are very few guys that get to come in like Irving Magic Johnson, where you win the NCAA title and you go right in and you win the NBA title and you're the Finals MVP. I don't believe we'll ever see that situation again, Skip. So you have to have hardship in order to have good times.
Okay, I got it. So, bottom line, after the game, James Harden was asked his thoughts on the play that we talked about, the Wesley Johnson play, and he said they're the same as they are on every play. Kill. Okay? So he can kill on Wednesday night, last night of February. Well, I'm serious. It's time for kill in May and June. If we get kill in May and June, I'm impressed, man.
And you know what? He'll do this and he'll cook the Spurs, and you're like, well, Kawhi was hurt, and you'll say LaMarcus was hurt, and then he'll beat the Warriors, and you'll say the Warriors.
What?
No, I'm just saying. I'm saying hypothetically.
I will not say if he beats the Warriors, I'll be over here.
No, you won't.
Okay, so are you on the Rockets bandwagon?
No, they were unmotivated.
No, that's what you say.
Hey, if James Harden beats the Warriors, congratulations to
and
LeBron.
James Harden is the
because LeBron might actually get a 4th ring.
Oh, my goodness.
No mercy.
This is the Undisputed Podcast, and I'm Shannon Sharpe. Before the show moves along, I wanted to tell you today's show is brought to you by Buffalo Wild Wings. It's that time again, that familiar crossroads of choosing between basketball and hockey. You can't choose? They're both on. Why are they both on? Relax. We have a solution. Buffalo Wild Wings. Rather than fill your living room with TVs, come into B-Dubs. We've got hockey and basketball on, each playing on dozens of screens so you don't have to choose. And to complete the trifecta, we can ensure you have access to all the sports foods you crave. From our selection of America's favorite wings in any of our 21 signature sauces and seasonings to shareable favorites like cheddar cheese curds and fried pickles, you'll have everything you've ever wanted. But wait, we also have a variety of beers to quench your thirst. All the basketball, all the hockey, all the food and beer you want, Buffalo Wild Wings. Wings, beer, sports. Please drink responsibly. Now back to the show.
No mercy.
Houston won their 14th straight game last night here in LA against the Clippers. They have the best record in the league, and James Harden had the highlight of the night by making Wesley Johnson fall, then staring him down and hitting a 3. Houston is still a half game up on the Warriors in the West. Joined by FS1 NBA analyst Steven Jackson. Welcome back.
Yeah.
So, before we get into the Rockets, what did you think of that ankle breaker play?
In the kitchen, we're twisting like a stir fry. Like the Migos say, he in the kitchen cooking. He was in the kitchen cooking. That's the best one-on-one player in the game. Don't feel bad, Wesley, because he do it to everybody. You just got put on the stage on TV in L.A. while he at home.
You like him better one-on-one than Kyrie?
Yes. Okay. I like James Harden. This is the MVP we talking about right now, and he's having an MVP season. That's some great move by MVP. I'm not excited about that. I'm not excited about what he does to everybody. I want to see what they do later on.
Yeah,
okay, cross him over is one thing. But to look down at him, like, get your butt up off that court. And then step back behind the 3, and then to give the 3 ball to Teodosic, because he ran out there, because you caught that too. Because it was for him.
What else are you supposed to do?
No, I ain't running out there. You finna get me in that shot.
That was awesome. That was a great move by James Harden.
Yeah, but James Harden got away with a little bit of a forearm to the chest push.
Always.
Just a little bit.
Always.
And I don't condemn Wesley Johnson. he's going backwards and he gets a little pushback. I'm not going to call it, but I'm saying then he stumbled back. And I don't think he's going to lose any sleep, Wesley Johnson, over this, because to your point, I've seen better than that, what James has done to other
And then
people.
he put it between his legs to step back with it. He waited on him, like, get.
The stare at him.
Yeah.
That's what really
Gave him that appetizer, that
classic.
fried calamari, because he know the entree was coming, that 3-ball, the entree. Yup.
Okay, so the score at that point was 28-7 Houston, and that made it 31-7, which sounds like a football score. Yeah. And it was the last night in February on a Wednesday night. Okay, now how does that translate into the postseason? Yeah.
It has nothing to do with
Nothing.
the postseason. Nothing at all. Like I said, he's having an MVP year, and he's been doing this the last couple of regular seasons.
3.
Dominating.
Yeah.
That's not a secret. But we want to see what happens in the playoffs. Something always happens where they don't win.
Right.
You know, you have Chris Paul now, another dominant player. We can see if y'all can go tit for tat, score a lot of points. But they both gonna have to be on their A games to have any success in the playoffs. And I'm not saying that they just can get to the playoffs. I think that they can win the Western Conference.
Yeah.
The way they're playing right now, with Chris Paul playing at the top of his game, but if they're not at the top of their game, they're not gonna win it. They have to be at the top of their game.
What do you think? Go ahead.
No, I want to know, Steven, how much do you trust? Like, I'll do scale of 1 to 10, with 10 being the most. How much do you trust this team in the postseason?
I have to say 5. Because I have to go by what history tells me.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of teams come in the playoffs and all that one-on-one stuff James do, they take that completely away.
Take it away.
Who else is going to beat us?
Right.
Yep.
We got to see what they're going to do. But Chris Paul is supposed to be the answer.
Well, because the thing is, they're the only team that's going to get consistent, because you shorten your bench come playoff time.
Yep.
And so now you're going to get consistent point guard play. No other team can say they can get consistent point guard play. Great point guard play for 48 minutes.
Right.
Now, and the history says we've seen Chris Paul at another location not get it done. We've seen James Harden here not get it done. Okay, they're together. Now, if one of them have an off night, can the other bring them home? That's what makes Golden State.
That's the question right
That's
there.
what makes Golden State so difficult to beat.
Yep.
They got 7-foot KD, who's been an MVP. They got Steph, who's a 2-time MVP. I can make a case that Klay Thompson right now is the top 3, top 4 shooter all time in the NBA.
No question.
Either one of those guys can go off. If 2 of those guys go off, you're not beating them. I don't care what you do. And that's why Cleveland couldn't beat them last year, Skip, because KD averaging 35, Steph averaging 29. What you supposed to do with that?
Well, if you're the best player on the planet, you do a lot with that. You just say, I'm better than all of you put together.
No, stop
I'll take this. Oh, that's what Jordan would have said.
No, Jordan wouldn't see what you should. Now, you know good and well. Jordan ain't never played nobody that.
Chris Paul never played with an MVP either.
Right.
So this is why it's going to be interesting. Chris Paul never played with a caliber player like James Harden.
Nope.
Right.
So it's good to see how they're going to feed off each other, because Chris is a tough-minded kid. Everybody loves Chris, and he's super smart. So it's going to be good to see.
Well, you ain't like Blake, Christian Blake?
I love Blake as an athlete, but as far as a leader and an MVP, no. He's not taking no team to the championship.
Yeah.
Well, you love DeAndre.
I love DeAndre.
Yeah.
Huh?
He might end up in Cleveland.
I love DJ.
But first we're gonna kick the tires at New Orleans. See if y'all want this #1 overall pick and Kevin Love for old AD.
Yeah. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. We got
You probably already called New Orleans yourself.
We gotta kick the tires and see. You never know. Hey, you might not want to sell that car, but if I make you an offer, you'll let it go.
Yeah. So the words that just came out of your mouth apply mostly to James Harden. You never know.
Right.
In the postseason, he can be crazy hot. He can be crazy cold, Siberia cold.
Yeah,
When he is off the planet off.
Right.
Like, I've never seen anything quite like it, because he just goes south and stays way south, right?
Defense too.
On defense, well, I never.
Well, he's always
He's trying now. He's trying now.
He does look like he tries a little bit, but I just look at what he's doing this year. He's running away with the MVP. I don't care what you say. He's just running away with
it. He's walking briskly.
All right, walking briskly. So he's making 38% of his three-point shots, and by the way, 87% of his free throws, which is unlike that guy up in Cleveland. That is impressive, because when you're leading the whole league in attempts by 33 and you're making 87%, that's a whole lot of points, man.
Yes, it is.
So 38% from 3 right here, right now in the regular season, and then I look at his postseason just in Houston, and he makes 32% in the postseason. Well, that's 6%. That's a lot of
dip.
misses. It's a big dip, man.
Especially with as many threes as they shoot.
Yeah.
Well, it's not the same shot in the regular season than it is in the playoffs.
Yeah.
You know, it's 4 different levels of basketball. You got regular season, you got preseason, regular season, playoffs, and NBA finals. There's 4 different levels.
4 levels,
and the shots
you
get tougher.
know because you have been through all 4 of those
But
levels.
here's the thing. This is what makes Golden State. You're talking about James Harden shooting, 38% from the 3, 87% from the free throw line, and probably in the mid-40s from the field.
Yeah.
Golden State got 2 guys on pace to shoot 50, 40, 90. And what you supposed to do with that? Now, Bird did it. Nowitzki's done it. KD's done
He's
it.
done it
Steph
before.
has done it.
Yeah.
But we've never seen 2 guys on the same team in the same year do it. That's what they're on pace to do. That's what you're up against. That's what LeBron is trying to take down. Jordan never had to worry about that.
So let's look back at early James Harden when he was in Oklahoma City coming off the bench, even though he would play starters minutes. And we look at those 2 key games in the 2012 finals, OKC versus Miami. It's 1-1 going back to your place in Miami. These are big games by a team that probably you could argue was even more talented than LeBron, D. Wade, and Bosh. You know, because those 3
were deeper,
kids.
yeah.
Oh man, you want to talk about firepower?
Serge.
And Serge on top of that was like a half a star. And look what James does in games 3 and 4. He plays high minutes, 34 minutes and 37 minutes, and he goes in game 3, 2 for 10 from the field and 0 for 4 from 3, and then 2 for 10 and 1 for 5 from 3 in game 4. And they lose both of them, and it's over because it's going to be over in 5 games. That was the early glimpse into what James Harden cannot be in the postseason. And then in Houston, 5 years in Houston. He's lost in the first round. He got to 1 conference finals and he got to 1 semifinals. But the point is, you look at some of the meltdown games that he's had. Let's look at Golden State. There was game 3 at Houston when they're down 2-0. This is in the conference finals. And he shoots 3 for 16 and 1 for 5 from 3. And then in the closeout game against Golden State, he goes 2 for 11 and 0 for 3 from 3. In high turnover games, he had the one big, he had a 12 turnover game in that game 5 closeout game.
Yeah.
12, that's the playoff record for turnovers. And then, of course, last year, game 6 against the Spurs, there's no Kawhi, there's no Tony Parker, and he goes 2 for 11 and 2 for 9 from 3. And you're wondering, where was he? Well, he can disappear on a regular basis.
But with their big 3, with Capello, Paul, and James Harden, they're 31-1. The question is, can
you're putting Clint Capella in big 3, and his his numbers have been highly impressive.
That's what they consider. So basically, with their 3 best players on the court together, they're 31-1.
They
the
are.
question is, can this team beat the Warriors 4 times in 2 weeks? I think home court is more important to the Rockets than it is Golden State. But I just don't see it. James Harden is playing unbelievable. Chris Paul, he's had his difficulties in the playoff also because they blew a 3-1 lead to the Rockets.
Right. He's had a bunch of.
So, but KD, Steph.
And Capella, you're not going to get all them lobs, and you're going to have to catch the ball. This is what they're going to do. They're going to take the ball to James' hands right at half court.
Yeah.
Where Capella's catching that ball at the 3-point line. So now you got to make a play. You got to dribble.
Right.
It's going to be chaos. It's going to be chaos.
Well, you got Chris Paul.
I'm going to be a good coach. I can't wait.
Really?
I can't wait.
You want?
Oh, yes. Just standing around the game is always good.
Okay. Wow.
Well, you see, Mike.
You heard it here first.
Well, you know what you call him? Eddie Howe's son. They won the state championship for the 3rd year in a row. And his son had 30 points and 14 steals.
14 steals? He texted me 14 steals, and I said, I texted back, did you typo the 14? I thought it was 4. He said, no, he had 14. And they came back from what was it, going to the fourth quarter,
they were down a bunch.
20-something.
But, look, it doesn't matter. As great as James Harden is playing, and he's playing phenomenal, it doesn't matter if they have the best record. If you don't win, if you don't upset Golden, if you don't dethrone Golden State, what is that?
Golden State has to win, too, now. You can't just give it to anybody.
No, but I'm just saying, hey.
They got to win, too.
But they got so much firepower.
They got a lot.
They got that heavy artillery.
They front runners, but, it's a 7-game series. Who's the best in that series?
But that's the thing, though.
We beat the number 1 seed.
Yeah.
In Golden State, and we didn't have the team that they have.
But at KD, what you gonna do with that 35 a night? What you gonna do with Steph's 29 a night? What you gonna do with Clay's 20 a night?
Well, that's a lot.
Draymond kicking, Draymond being the Rocket, kicking people in the
Yeah, but guess what? For James Harden, the better he plays in the regular season, the more the pressure mounts in the postseason.
absolutely.
So he can run away with the MVP, and the better they play, and he's already said this is the best team he's ever played on. He did play on that Oklahoma City team. But again, in veteran star power.
Hold on, the team that LeBron took down 4-1? A gentleman's sweep? Oh, that was the best team.
Well, he's just saying we're smarter, we're older.
So he get kudos. So LeBron get kudos for that, right?
I give him a chance. I give the Rockets a chance.
You do?
Yeah, I do.
4-2.
Man, I don't know.
4-2. I give him 2 games.
Earlier in the show, you were all on board.
Oh, I mean, yeah.
Well,
James
the
Harden.
way you're talking, it's going to be 4-0 in the finals because LeBron's going to get swept.
Whoa! See, there you go.
Am I right?
No.
Well, that's what you keep talking about.
No. I mean, that's why I'm going to.
You're trying to defuse the sweep that's coming.
I sent my construction crew to South Dakota. As we speak, they're pulling up the Mount Rushmore because they about to do some renovation on that face to the left.
To the left?
That face to the left.
Really?
Because I told them, I say, hey, I'm gonna give them the green light with LeBron. Hey.
Huh? And a 70% free throw shooter is going to be the left face?
74.
Well,
Stephen, thanks for joining us.
No mercy.
Dak Prescott is coming off an up-and-down sophomore season. He threw 13 interceptions this past year compared to only 4 as a rookie, and the Cowboys missed the playoffs. Jason Garrett made some pretty strong comments yesterday about Dak. Let's take a listen.
He's done a lot of really good things, but he can improve in every aspect of his game. His understanding of what we're doing, his understanding of what the defense is doing, how those fit together. Physically, he can get better. You know, the way he gets away from center, his mechanics in the gun, the way he throws the football, his decisiveness, his decision-making. All of those things can get better, and they will get better.
Shannon, do you like Garrett saying this?
I do not like it because I thought it was a really harsh critique and something that didn't need to be said publicly. Skip, if I go to the mechanic and he says, Mr. Sharpe, you need a new engine, new transmission, new axle, 4 new tires. Hell, I need a new car. Skip, it seems like they're in the market for a new quarterback. I mean, what does that – I mean, he said from his understanding of our offense, understanding of what the defense is doing, the way he goes about takes the snap from center, the way he is pocket present, throwing the ball. I'm like, well, damn. If I'm Dak, I'll say, you know what? They ask me something about Jason Garrett, I'll say, you know what? He needs to work on some things. His in-game adjustments. Second half adjustments, his uses of timeouts and challenges, the way we practice. I need Jason to get better on that. Skip, I just thought this was really harsh. I really thought it was unnecessary to say this publicly. If you want to say, Dak, I need you to work on these things privately. Because basically, he just said, Dak, nothing you've done over the last 2 years has really been good. So basically, I need you to just wipe the slate clean and start over again. I understand that the really great players, they have to reinvent themselves every year. What that means, Skip, is that they build on, because they know, in teams like, okay, we're going to take the running game away, okay, Dak, go beat us. But Skip, the way he takes the ball from center, the way he what? Y'all on the market for a new quarterback, Skip.
So we're going to trade up for Josh Rosen now? I don't know.
All I'm
Is that
saying,
what we're doing?
But see, hey, I gave him an F. What did Jason Garrett just give him, Skip?
Well, that's why when I heard that, I wondered if you're now a ventriloquist because I thought you were speaking for Jason Garrett, right? So I'm surprised that you have an issue with it because I would think everything he said, you believe.
There are some things he needs to work on, Skip, but just because it's the right thing to say, everything doesn't need to be voiced publicly.
That's a fact.
He could have talked to Dak behind closed door. I don't believe he said those things that he said right now. I don't believe he said those to Dak in the closeout meeting. I don't believe he ever said that. But now
I don't either because it's not his style, and I know Jason.
And now
that's not his management style.
But now all of a sudden he wants to be honest because when they ask him about Dez, we haven't got to that process yet. Now because Dez Bryant, he's still this Dez. Stephen Jones, even last year during the season, Skip, I just thought this was a very harsh critique of second-year quarterback Dak Prescott. They're going to be growing pains, but to basically say we need a new quarterback. That's basically what he said. Although you're not going to get one. The guy needs to take the ball from center better. The way he sets up in the pocket, the understanding of the offense. I get that, Skip, but come on, bro. That was unnecessary, I thought.
I was so offended by what became a scathing critique from a coach who doesn't even deserve to keep his job. as the head coach of America's team. I've said for at least 2 years, really 3 years, I don't know how he keeps his job, except, speaking of puppets, he is Jerry's number one puppet, and he is treated like another quote-unquote son of Jerry Jones. But to your point, scathing critiques about all Jason does well is clap on the field. He claps after touchdowns. He claps after turnovers. He just keeps clapping on the sideline. Are you there? Are you alive? Are you a robot? He just claps. And, you know, Jason could work on his clock management, his in-game decision-making, his motivational skills are highly questionable. His halftime speeches don't ever seem to work because I don't know what he says at halftime. It must be on a loop. He just says the same thing every halftime because the words no longer resonate in that locker room because you know how many halftime leads got blown by second half debacles.
And was there a game last year, Skip, in which they were down at the half, in which they came back and won?
I can't think of one, but I can tell you a bunch where they were up pretty significantly at half.
Yes.
Starting with the Rams and the Packers at home, and those were absolute nightmares for me in the second half. Way to go, Coach Clapp. So, speaking of puppets again, it did give me pause to wonder, because Jason says what Jerry wants him to say, and it made me wonder, did Jerry tell Jason we need to light a fire under Dak? Is Jerry harping on what I brought up, what was it, about 10 days ago on the show, that all of a sudden Dak Prescott in his second year has not one or two or three, he's got 12 national advertisements that he does for 12 different big corporation companies? I don't know. Maybe he's upset with that. Or maybe Jerry, because we harped on this, maybe he's starting to miss Tony Romo. Maybe he's starting to say, I told you so. We should have hung on. We should have talked Tony back out of the booth. Because remember, what did Jerry say? My only regret, or his biggest regret, in all of his football career in Dallas was I didn't win a Super Bowl with Tony Romo.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah.
Well, guess what, Jerry? Not only did you not win a Super Bowl, you didn't even sniff a Super Bowl with Tony Romo because you never even got to the NFC Championship game.
You only won like 2 games with Tony Romo.
I know. So you got to the division round once against Brett Favre, which was a debacle up in Minnesota. Remember that game?
Correct.
And then remember they eked one out against Detroit, and I give you that they got a big officiating break in that game, and then they went up and got rawly robbed. It was a robbery because you know it was a catch. By the way, I tweeted last night that I hope all those you've got like 20 followers, or they watch what I don't know how many you have. I never looked, but
they watch.
I wanted them. I tweeted about you that please go tell the Hall of Famer that was a catch.
No,
because it was just
Mike Pereira had a great conversation with him last night. He said everything you said, Shannon, was absolutely true.
And he used to work for
the NFL.
Yeah, okay.
But here's the thing, Skip, now you know he's been very critical of some of the calls that the NFL has.
He has.
So he's on my side.
Well, so he said to your face.
No, he said it. But so you don't want to agree with an official. You want to agree with John Mara. Okay.
No, did he not just blatantly say, obviously it was a catch?
No.
That's the owner of the New York Football Giants, publicly admitting that.
Yeah. What he's saying, if the rules were in place today like that in 2014, that would have been a catch. But we're not talking about the catch.
No,
we're talking about your coach and how he offered this scathing.
It was a scathing critique.
Harsh
it was very harsh. So, look, obviously, stepping back from this, does Dak need to improve in lots of what third-year quarterback doesn't need to improve except for Tom Brady once upon a time? But that's neither here nor there.
Oh, stop it. Because you remember what happened this third year. They went 8-8. Okay. We beat the brakes off them up in New England. Yeah.
And then he won his third Super Bowl.
Yeah, then they came to Denver and they beat us.
Okay. So, I get all that. But to your point, you were the one who you beat your desk all year long talking about how Dak Prescott's number one target was a broken down shell of himself and a liability, right?
Yeah.
And I kept telling you, I don't see one receiver that he has who can uncover, who can separate.
No.
Except for Bryce Butler, who didn't get to play very much.
Correct.
Right?
Yes.
And the offensive line, I don't know what happened to it, but you want to talk about underachieving or maybe being overrated? One of those two applies, right?
Yeah, you're right, Skip, but here's the thing. And this is and no one is really talking about this because they really like him. But Jason Witten, he ain't getting separation either.
Okay. He can wall people off and catch it for 4 yards.
Yeah.
I give you that.
But Skip.
And when in doubt, you just throw it to that big body and you get 4 yards.
The team, look at.
No, I got it.
Look at the.
He can't turn and go with it.
No,
No,
you look at the receivers that turn and go, and their teams were in the playoffs.
Okay.
Look at New England. You look at Philly with Ertz. You look at Kansas City with Kelsey. You look at Delaney Walker. You look at the guys that were in the playoffs.
I give you that.
The team, and their tight ends.
Okay. So then I look at no Zeke for 6 games, and you told me that was a huge deal, right?
That was huge.
And I look, this is a huge deal on my part. No Sean Lee, the driving force, the key player on the defense, was gone for 6 games.
Yes.
So if you total all that up, I'd say that's going to be a pretty hard year for a sophomore quarterback who had a great rookie year, right?
Yes.
Okay, so then we sum it up and we say, okay, what happened statistically? And I'm going to say it one more time. Dak Prescott was 3rd in the NFL in QBR as a rookie. That's pretty great. And last year, he plummeted all the way to 4th in the NFL in QBR. That's not terrible.
But
that's not an F.
Well, what happened is that if he'd had the sophomore season, his rookie year, and the rookie season, his sophomore year, but the expectations were so high considering where he was his rookie year, Skip, 13-3, 26-4. I mean, did they really expect Dak to go, 30-2, touchdown, interception, and all of a sudden they go 14-2 and go win the Super Bowl? We knew there was going to be some fallback, Skip. And as you mentioned, Zeke being everything worked perfectly his rookie year. Everything, all the pieces fit perfectly. Everything fell into place. So, but this critique of him, of Dak, I just thought publicly, Skip, especially for a quarterback. Normally, you don't have to light fires up under quarterbacks. Those guys, the really good ones, are very self-motivated. And like I said, Dak strikes me as a guy that's and he said it himself, I need to get better. He's going to go into the lab. He's going to study. He's going to work on his footwork. He's going to work on his accuracy.
Yeah.
So I'm not worried about that. But the conversation that Dak had that Jason Garrett had that became public, he could have had that very conversation with Dak and said, you know what, I talked to Dak. There are some things that he needs to work on. He knows what he needs to work on. We've talked about it, and I'm just going to leave it at that. But to say everything, Skip?
Correct, which brings us back to your opening point, which is the one position you cannot scathingly publicly critique is that position.
Right.
Quarterback is the hardest position to me by far to play in all of sports. It's just hard, man.
Yes.
You got to process 7 things in a row like that with people trying to knock you on your tail.
Yes.
Trying to hurt you. And after a while, if it starts to go south, your confidence, did he lose? I told you thought he didn't lose any confidence. I think he did because he was getting rocked from his blind side. And after a while, you start to flinch a little bit.
I thought he lost confidence in the guys because he saw that he didn't have guys, and he's looking at guys around. He's looking at other guys. He's looking at second-year quarterback in Jared Goff, and he's looking at all these weapons that he has. His Todd Gurley is going to be gone for 6 weeks. As far as Ezekiel Elliott, he's looking at Carson Wentz, and he sees Alshon making plays. He sees Ertz making plays, Torrey Smith, Aguilar. He sees all his guys making plays, all these second-year quarterbacks making plays, in which he had a better rookie season than both of them. And then come sophomore, he's like, well, they went and got him some weapons. I ain't got nothing. They stayed pat because that's the biggest mistake you can make, Skip. A lot of times when teams go 13-3, they don't do it. They don't change anything. But you see, it's easy. We're going to see.
Well,
we're going to see what they do as far as the receiver position and see what upgrades they make
I
to help Dak Prescott improve.
They better downgrade number 88 and get him out of there. That's what they better do. But bottom line, on Jason Garrett, he played this position. He was a backup. He was pretty good. He won a couple of big games for them.
Yeah, he did.
So you would think he, of all people, would know not to do that.
Right.
Did he ever do this to Tony Romo one time? I can't remember it.
No.
No.
It's a little spicy for Jason Garrett. Maybe he's
maybe it's the new guy.
Maybe he's
I don't know.
changing. Yeah.
Maybe.
He look red here, a little fiery. Maybe he get a little fiery, a little spunk on it. Heard what you said, talking about all that clapping.
Coach
now
clap.
he clapping. Now he clapping.
Clapping back.
At your quarterback.
Clapping back.
He clapping at your quarterback.
No mercy.
The Cowboys will not have any, quote, Ezekiel Elliott rules to help him avoid troubles off the field. In the past, they've had different rules for guys like Des Bryant, but Stephen Jones said yesterday that he believes Zeke has learned from his past. Let's take a listen.
I think he's doing well. I mean, I wouldn't say we monitor him any closer. mean, you can only do so much. These are grown men. And, I think, a lot of confidence that Zeke's learned a lot. And hopefully he has. And we've had great players that, had to do better before. I mean, Michael will tell you he had to learn a few valuable lessons, but he turned out to be a Hall of Famer. And I think if Zeke will, pay attention and do the right things off the field and be responsible, then he certainly can have an amazing career.
We're joined by FS1 NFL analyst Ray Lewis. Welcome, Ray. Good morning.
Morning.
Ray, how should the Cowboys handle Zeke?
I tell you what, I was reading this morning, and interesting enough, Proverbs chapter 1, verse 7 says, wisdom begins with the fear of the Lord. And when you think of these young guys, Zeke's normal doesn't work. And a lot of these young guys have pulled away from a direction of where to go. You show me your crowd, I'll show you your future. If he doesn't change that, then there's no way he can stop it. It's what happens when you go to clubs and you get drunk all out and you lose control. So when you say, what is it? I mean, Stephen Jones comes out and says this. He's trusting him to be a man, but they're young men. They're young men with a lot of money, 21, 22, 23. If you do not have somebody in your life, a mentor, somebody that does not live that type of life, somebody that can grab you. Early in my career, I had somebody by the name of Eric Turner, rest in peace. Eric Turner used to grab me when I was younger and will show me certain things, that will sit down and take me through a Bible scripture and just slow me down. Then I'm still young. So then I still go out and do my things, right? Then I find myself in some other stuff. Then I have to run into a Shannon that slows me down even more and says, no, this is the life you have. I think the call for veteran players, a Jason Witten, who has a totally separate life than Ezekiel Elliott. But if you care for him past a teammate, then as a brother, you must grab him and sit him down and say, bro, let's have a conversation. Come to the house. That's one thing I started doing with many men in my career. Shannon can attest to. I come over my house. We'll do Bible study over my house. Let me teach you something that will keep you on the right path, right? And I think a lot of these young guys, is one thing about why they don't apply wisdom, because now it's the celebrity status is given to them so quickly. But one of my duties, and I still do it to this day, Skip, is I grab a lot of these young kids and I take them backwards before I take them forward. I'm not here to praise you. I'm here to tell you the things you cannot do, not if you're trying to have a long career. You're talking about a running back career, 7, 8, 9.
If you're lucky.
If you're lucky. If the right injury don't come along and you have to get back from that. All I will say to Zeke, from a personal level, you have to find a foundation. And my foundation has always been God. But if he doesn't create a foundation outside of his normal life, then this decision will haunt them. And I think it's bigger than just the Cowboys. I think it's his brothers. Somebody who really got to keep it real. He has to get away from everybody who become yes men. If everybody around you saying yes, that ain't a good crowd. If everybody around you, you the last one picking up the tab, that ain't a good crowd. So I don't know if they're playing with fire with this one. I'm just telling you, this young kid has to figure out right now who is for me and who's not.
Make some very valid points.
That was some powerful words you just spoke.
The thing is, and I'm the type of friend, I'm not for everybody. I'm not everybody's cup of tea, because I'm the type of friend to tell you what you need to know and not what you want to hear. So I'm not for everybody, Skip. That's why everybody doesn't call me. Everybody doesn't engage with me. Because I got to tell you the truth. The thing is with him, who is in the locker room of veteran leadership that Zeke will listen to? He gonna listen to Dez? Dak, he and Dak's the same age. Who is that guy? I was very fortunate to meet Ray when I met Ray because I was single, he was single, and I just told him, I said, your crowd, first of all, the first thing I told him, I said, your crowd too big. I said, you got to tighten the circle. Because that way, if something gets out, you know where it came from. I said, you trust far too many people. I said, it's okay that something's going on and Ray's not there. I said, what do you want? I said, what do you want? What do you want for what do you want for your career? What do you want for your future? The first thing that I want to win Defensive Player of the Year. I want to win the Super Bowl. I said, okay. I had never won Player of the Year or anything. I had won Super Bowl. I said, well, this is what we need to do. Bam, 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 bam. He didn't say, man, come. Even though he was griping, like, shit, I can't. I said, you can. I said, you will. And that's what you have to do with Zeke. Skip, he's going to have to get somebody. And maybe, and it's hard, Skip, and I'll be honest with you, it's hard to get someone of the opposite race, even in sports. But it just so happens that it worked out. I was able to come along at Ray. And the thing, what I wanted him to do is that to pass it along and to help guys along the way. Skip, if Zeke has not learned anything, if he continuously wants to play with fire, because you would think, Skip, after what he went through last year, man, ain't no way I'm going to put myself in that situation again. But he's a guy, Skip, and I said this before, you're not turning your phone off at night. You're not going to be able to sleep easy because you always worried about that call is going to come that Zeke has done something. You just hope that he's learned a lesson and not put himself in harm's way. But they say they trust him. He's going to want that big contract. And before someone gives you $40, $50 million guaranteed, Skip, they got to know they can trust you. And right now, I know they're saying they do, but they don't. He's going to have to go a couple of years without them doing it, not putting himself in harm's way.
So I greatly appreciate the words from both of these Hall of Famers, soon to be Hall of Famer, and especially what you said, Ray Lewis, about show me your crowd and I'll show you the future, right? The kid's future. And obviously we all know you had that one incident in Atlanta during Super Bowl week and you had to go north or south from that. And he helped you go north from that. And you were probably running with the wrong folks at that point, I would say, as we look back, and you learned a huge lesson and you continued to benefit from it. And now you counsel a whole lot of kids, mentor a whole lot of kids on how to do this and not do that. And in this kid's case, and he is still a kid, I don't know if he gets it or not, but he has Hall of Fame talent. There's no doubt about it. And you did speak to his football team last year. And I don't know if you got any one-on-one time with him.
I did a little bit.
A little bit? And how did it strike you? How
And you
did
know
it
what?
come across?
I connected more with Dak than I did with Zeke. You know, and I think because it came from a different place with Dak. And so, you know, I exchanged number with Dak and we hit each other all the time. It's really interesting because greatness comes at a heavy price. A heavy price. It's boring. It's not popular behind the scenes. And that's the thing when you go to Dallas, you are the scene.
You are.
You are the it, right? And when you're young, if you do not, there's something that happened, and I tell people this all the time. You may depart from what your foundation is, but ultimately the way you were raised, you will come back to it. And that's the thing that this is a personal challenge to Zeke.
It is.
Because I want him to have a long career. I want him to make a lot of money. And more importantly, I want him to one day be considered to be a Hall of Famer.
Sure.
Talent? Absolutely. Oh my gosh. That kid, that jump step, that jump cut he has, it's one of the most patient jump cuts I've ever seen in my life.
It is.
But I'm talking about the man. And when you start out this young, causing your own pains, if you don't have somebody in your corner, you really got to ask yourself a real question. Are they really friends? Are they really friends? And so I think Dak comes from a different place. Dak has been through some very challenging times in his life.
He has.
Yeah, he lost some loved people, some loved ones that.
And his mom.
Yeah, that will put a place, right? And so for me, I think all the things that I learned in life, right? Knowledge is the application. You must apply knowledge to understand wisdom. And that's the thing that these young kids aren't doing. They're not applying it. Because applying it is picking up a Proverbs and reading the Proverbs in the morning and reading the Psalms at night.
Yep, it is.
It's creating a foundation that even if this goes wrong, I can tell you who I am at the end of the day.
Beautifully said.
That's where we that's where we have to get with
I
this
hope
kid.
Zeke is watching.
Yeah, we'll leave it there. Ray, thanks so much for joining us.
Absolutely.
No mercy.
The NFL Combine is going on as we speak in Indianapolis. On the field, workouts start tomorrow with the quarterback workouts on Saturday. It was reported earlier this week that Sam Darnold will not throw at the Combine, and he could be the first overall pick. We're joined once again by Ray Lewis. Shannon, let me start with you. How much stock do you put in the Combine?
Not a lot. I believe the Combine should offer confirmation for what you've seen on tape. It should be not the end-all, be-all. And what we're seeing is that, take it like this. If a guy looks fast on tape, let's see when we put him on the clock what he does in the 40. If a guy looks explosive, let's see what he does in the standing long jump in the vertical. If the guy looks quick, let's see what he does in the short shuttle. But
shorts is the operative.
Yeah,
shorts.
Yeah,
Right? Yeah.
but here, and what we're doing is that now these guys are leaving college. They go to Arizona, they go to Florida, they come to California, and they work in these specific drills. Right. 40, standing long jump, vertical. They actually have the actual Wonderlic test.
They do.
So now you get there and the guy in shorts and T-shirts and he's running 4.2 and he's jumping out of the building. You're like, well, okay. But what did the tape say? When you watched him on tape, did he look fast? Did he look explosive? Did he look quick? Nah. Okay, but then you take it. Now the whole evaluation is that you look at a guy in shorts and T-shirts, something that he's not going to play football in, and says, "Okay, I got to have this guy." It should be confirmation. It should be validation for what you saw. And I told a story about Suggs, and he had 24 sacks, which is still an NCAA record, not 26. Yep. Dude ran 4.85 with tights and track spikes on a track. So what's he going to be in a helmet and shoulder pads shoe with cleats?
And he wasn't the biggest guy coming out, right? Wasn't he too?
No, Suggs was always good size.
He about heavy.
Yeah.
But I'll just say, but when I watch the tape and watch him bend to the edge,
100%.
Can he turn the corner?
Right.
Well, he can turn the corner.
Like all time.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that's what but it's Skip. It started with these guys going to get these specialized. Mike Mamula started it. 6'5", 257, running 4.4. Yep. But you look at him on tape, he didn't play 4.4.
Right.
He didn't play explosive. But they took him, and that's what you get.
Yeah, can the Combine, look, exactly what Shannon is saying. So even my year coming out, I mean, I didn't work out at the Combine.
Why?
At all. Well, one of the reasons why, because some people need the Combine to go impress people that, no, maybe I'm better than you think I am. But your body of work is your tape. I used to always tell people that. I don't need to come out and do all this. Now, I tell you when I will do it, I'll do it at the University of Miami.
Okay.
I do it on my stomping grounds.
Yeah.
Why? Because most guys are comfortable. That's where they're comfortable. The Combine sometimes can be, it's like a deer in headlights.
Yeah.
Like it can shock you. It's so much going on. I got to go to this meeting. I got to talk to this guy. I got to bench press. You walk in a room, 30 doctors are touching you, trying to find out things. Realistically, when you talk about Sam Darnold, what this guy's done on tape should speak for itself.
I agree.
I tell people all the time, you want to know who I am? Turn on the tape and push play. It'll show you everything about me. But when you go in these combines, now, if a guy is looking to possibly jump up third or fourth round, this has happened many a times, and he hasn't had a particularly well,
Yeah, he doesn't have a great tape.
Yeah, he doesn't have a great tape. No. He runs a 4.4, 4.340. Wow, he jumps up to the first round. Like, how does this guy get up to the first round?
Or they were hurt. And
Absolutely.
Now you get an opportunity.
And now you get an opportunity.
He's good and you run fast, jump
but
high.
I really believe the combine is for the scouts, for the coaches, and definitely in today's time. It's one of those things about these private workouts now. Like these guys, they're showing up after these private workouts. They're showing up the day they need to train because they're going through how to put my hand down, how not. And so all of these things, I think the combine, honestly, is for a guy who really needs it. It's not for the top guys. Yeah.
What happened at your pro day at Miami?
In terms of what?
Run. How'd you run?
Oh man, I mean, running for me was easy. It was easy. I mean, I ran low 4.4, and
But you was only 220. You won't tell that story.
you could never outrun me, no matter what I was.
I couldn't need that.
Okay,
Wait a minute.
and that's all.
Wait, a tight end couldn't outrun?
No.
Absolutely not.
No.
Absolutely not.
But go look. Hey,
Skip, don't let it surprise you.
Skip. But tell him like you said. Hold on, Skip.
Don't let- no,
He
no,
said the
don't
tape.
correct me.
Hold on. He said the tape. Go pull the tape from 1996. Pull the tape, Baltimore Ravens, and against the Denver Broncos, 1996. Pull that tape. 9 for $1.68.
Man, we was terrible.
That got nothing to do with me.
He was a rookie.
I was a rookie, man. We was
They
terrible.
gave it to him. Let him know this is what you got to do.
Okay. So, to this point, you're in the Hall of Fame. You're about to be in the Hall of Fame. You were a 7th-round draft
Yes.
pick, and you didn't combine at all. You did have your Savannah State
No, I went to the
program.
combine.
You went to,
I went to the combine.
I thought you just did a pro day.
No, I went to the combine,
Oh,
Skip.
and what happened?
Not good things happened.
Okay.
He went to the combine when it was the combine.
Skip, but here's the thing, though, Skip. Is that you go to the combine, they're looking for a way to punch holes in you.
Yep.
They're like, okay, I came with all these stats. They're like, well, he didn't play anybody. And then I ran like 4.65 and 4.68.
All right.
And I had like a 10.3 standing long jump, which was pretty good, like a
Pretty good.
37-inch vertical.
No, it is.
Look at Byron Jones, Skip.
And what did you weigh at that point?
I think I weighed 221.
Okay.
Look at Byron Jones, Skip. He has the world record in the standing long jump.
Right.
12 foot 3 inches. Does he play like that?
No.
Does he play
They're still trying to figure out whether he's a safety or
or
a corner.
Right.
Okay? So this man fell all the way to 26th in the draft. 26th in the draft? And he became as like the great of the greats.
Yeah.
How's that possible? Why did 25 teams say no? Or however many teams were drafting above you?
Size.
Measure. Because
Art.
they need him to be 6'2", 240.
Yeah, they wanted me to be 6'4". The first pick, one of the first picks of the draft was Kevin Hardy. You know, Jonathan Ogden went. Keyshawn Johnson went 1. Kevin Hardy went 2. Samuel Rice went 3. 6'4", 6'5". I'm like, really? And so I used to always say this. Seriously. And I kept this chip on my shoulder the entire time. I said, if 25 teams pass on what they have no clue about, because they can't measure a man's heart. I always tell people that. Size and all that stuff, whatever. But if you talk about getting to the heart of things, when you think about, and I go back think about this all the time, from 1 to 25, from the moment I stepped in the game to the moment I left the game, I put my resume up against anybody.
I would say.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a joke.
But that's what you have to. But Skip, even though all these guys, because a lot of these guys, I went to the Blue Grade, I went to the East West Shrine, and then I saw these guys at the combine, and I'm looking at them. I'm like, dude, they not better than me.
Right.
I mean, I saw these guys run routes. Yeah, I was raw, Skip. I mean, we didn't have these exotic. We had, we just called plays, and it was what it is what it is. Right. But I'm looking at them like, and I told my brother, I said, man, Spank, these dudes not better than me. Reggie Rembert, Alexander Wright, Eric Green, Jesse
I knew
Anderson.
him well at Dallas.
Ran track against him in high school. Now, he could fly.
He could really
That dude had that, ooh.
I didn't know you ran track. But okay.
Yo, what?
No, I just didn't know that.
You knew that. You knew
Because
that.
how would...
You didn't run track.
I ran track.
No. You was on the track team. Nah, I ran track.
Well,
Yeah,
you
there
ran
is a
4.840.
difference.
Nah, yeah, you on the track team.
What you did? Distance?
No. Stop it. You think I'm kidding?
What did you run?
I ran the open.
Distance.
Hold on. I was mainly a field guy, but I ran the open.
Mainly a field guy.
Now see how the conversation just changed.
Hold on, let me ask you a question. Did Carl Lewis have the world record? He was the fastest man in the world. He was the fastest man in 100 meters. But what did he long jump? 4-time Olympic champ. But I did run the
Okay, but
open
when
four.
you're a football player that's on the track team, you do field.
I do.
You're just on the track
No.
team.
I ran the open 4 and I was on both relays. I ran ankle leg on the mile relay.
I just told you it was distance. That's what I just said.
400 meters.
400 is a sprint.
Well,
400 is a sprint.
For you, it ain't a sprint. Me and you have ran many quarters before, and it's.
Sure.
And wait a minute, how many ribbons did your track team win in the...
Oh,
the 4x100.
I'm 3-time state champ. Still got the state record.
3 times?
3 times. Best performance. All-American. Y'all didn't know?
We're going to fact check that.
Was this like the lowest class?
Lowest class.
Okay.
But my senior year,
Yeah.
I had the best jump in the state of Georgia. Yeah, but you
Huh?
right, like you said, you better check that resume.
Okay. All right, so back to this. This combine has degenerated into 2 things to me. It's a track meet, and it's fun to watch. If you just take it as a track meet, I'm good.
Yeah.
I'm good.
Right.
It's fun to watch. And it's also become a big convention for all NFL people, including agents.
Yeah.
And it's kind of a boys' night out thing where everybody has fun and they go out and they
go to
have a
St.
few.
Elmo's and
they do.
They need to go to Country Kitchen and get some more.
Okay, that's fine.
Neck bone.
Okay, so what happened last year? John Ross set the record.
Yeah. Wow.
He ran 4.22 in the 4.22. And then John Ross, he was banged up, had a shoulder problem, but he went on to catch 0 balls for the Cincinnati Bengals last year. He made it to 3 games.
Didn't they run him on a reverse and he fumbled?
He had one, he had one gain of something, I forget, 12-yard gain or something like that. But he fumbled. But my point is, it doesn't translate.
No.
But what did translate was, I'm watching it because I enjoy it.
Yeah.
But I watched the group of the quarterbacks together because they make them all do things together. And guess who the alpha was? Guess who the bell cow was right away? You could just see who kind of took over in the group. It was Deshaun Watson.
Absolutely.
He just took it over, and you could say, wait, that guy.
Absolutely.
Look at the aura, look at the body, look at the way he carries himself, and you say, oh, that guy. See, that's what I'd put that in my notebook.
And you watch it, and I always pay special attention to the tight end. And I watched Evan Ingram play at Ole Miss. I watched O.J. Howard. I said, man, they look fast. I said, I'm going to see what they run.
Okay, that's fine.
Right.
They run.
They run.
They can run. And Evan Ingram looks like he's going to be a major player.
Okay, but the converse of that is I watched a lot of Emmitt Smith at Florida, and I'm saying, boy, he looks pretty quick and fast to me. And then he ran 4.6 at the combine.
Yeah.
4.6?
Yeah.
And he fell down into the middle of
Right.
Okay.
But some people. So I take like I went 6th linebacker. I was the 6th linebacker taken in that draft.
That's outrageously wrong.
And so you ask yourself, when Maxie Vaughn started working me out, I never forget it. He had this wheel route, right? Back a turn and sprint, right? And I used to always say, Maxie, you will never outthrow me. Like you can try it a million times.
Okay.
And he says to me, I don't know the last time I saw a middle linebacker run like this, right? And I'm like, Maxie, look. But he looked at my body. This goes back to the look test, right? And he's like, I mean, you look built like a Greek god, but I mean, I don't know if you'll survive in the league long. And I'm like, wow, why would he say
Were you
that to me?
220 at that point?
I was probably 215.
Wow.
And
why was that?
Because
he was lean.
I was lean.
Like you didn't have your man body yet, or you?
No, I had ran into that. Gee, I didn't get into that until
I met you like 2000.
Yeah, 99.
2000.
Probably 99,
That
2000.
South Florida humidity will keep you trim.
Yeah, and
but you wanted to be trim because back then you could tell your jersey.
Yeah, I mean,
Skip,
I was in high school now with about 18 of them. You know, I'm just.
And you played running back in high school, right?
Yeah, and I wrestled.
Okay.
Yes, I wrestled 189, so I always stayed at a.
189?
Yeah, absolutely.
How did you get down to 189?
I was naturally a 189er. Yeah, I mean, the honest thing was I never got to 189. I was like always 180, 183, 184. So I always wrestled up.
As a senior in high school?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, when I went and won the state champ, I was probably 185, 184. Yeah, I didn't start putting on weight until probably my 3rd, 4th year in the league.
And then what was your ultimate playing weight at the end?
Oh, man. I mean, the heaviest I got when we was training, I was 260 with like 5% body fat.
60?
Yeah. We running. We was.
Okay.
But we was doing some things that I didn't know what I was doing. I was just instructed to get up to eat dry chicken breast every morning. No season on the beans.
He still does that.
Yeah, life changed for me.
Man, Shay, I can't eat this every day.
So wait, he put you in the Hall of Fame, is what you're saying?
Listen, it's a couple of people. I can't tell my story without.
Are you going to thank him when you see
What?
him? No.
Every day, Shay, I can't eat like this. I can't live like this, Shay. Yeah, you can.
I was 24. That was a culture shock. But it changed everything. But back to the combine. I didn't think I needed it to do what I was trying to do. and it panned out.
The rest is Hall of Fame history.
Them
You still on that diet?
Huh?
You still on that diet?
Yeah, I've been stopped it now. I mean, it's a lifestyle change. So when you go through something like that at 24, fast food leaves your life, everything leaves your life. So it's like
So now you're used to it now?
Yeah, I don't even eat. I stopped eating meat and everything.
I'll eat that meat now.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna give him a good old burger.
Yes.
I'll eat that.
No mercy.
Thanks for listening to the Undisputed Podcast. I'm Joy Taylor. We're back at the same time tomorrow morning, 9:30 Eastern. We'll see you then.
Fox Sports. One of one.